Hello, everybody. Welcome. My name's Seven, and I'm here with my host Subnark. And
Morning.
we're here with our first ever episode of Devcast with the developer of Starless Umbra and Heroes of Umbra, Zexyu. Hope I'm
That's
pronouncing
right.
that
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Yeah. I can. I'll save the history of the username for another time. But yeah, Zexyu or Andrew. You can call me either. Yeah.
All right.
Cool. Thanks for. I guess I'm the guinea pig. Thanks for having me.
Yes, you are the guinea pig.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Sweet.
Yeah. Let's start with the questions. Our first one is, why and when did you start developing video games? Because you've been busy for a
Yeah.
while, right?
Yeah. It was really, honestly, I think not a very original intro to it, but as a kid, I grew up with like this SNES, N64 era of
Mm-hmm.
games, and I remember playing games like Final Fantasy 6, 3 in the US, and just really having the sense of like, hey, like this is really cool. I wonder if I can make that. And I honestly, like, it was really just that wonder and kind of shoveled that away in the back of my mind. And then I think when I was like 12 or 13, I found RPG Maker 2000, and really, like, it was just crazy. Like there's some Russian hacker had like cracked this software and released it like on the internet, and I found it on like some French website and like downloaded it, and immediately was like, I can do this. I can make a game. um yeah, so it was really born out of this desire to make specifically RPGs, and yeah, I guess that kind of like, I don't know, carried my career and sort of, I guess everything from there too. So yeah, it kind of all started from that cracked version of RPG Maker though.
Yeah. And how did you exactly like learn game development? Because I'm sure that's not. It wouldn't have been too
Yeah,
easy.
yeah. A lot of it really came down to just like copying things that I had seen in other games. Like, again, I played a lot of Super Nintendo games. So like, for example, if you guys are familiar with Mario RPG, there's a segment in the game where you have to hide behind curtains, and then like the bad guys like running around opening the curtains and trying to find you. And I was like, that would be really cool to build in a game. Like, how do you do that, and how do I use the tools that I have to do something like that? And so yeah, really, it was like, yeah, discovering problems and like kind of creatively crafting solutions. And thankfully, RPG Maker is like, people joke that it's like kind of like a baby engine or whatever to make games, but I think like underneath the surface, there's enough of like to like really teach you the basics of software engineering and programming, and that through like a weird clunky interface, admittedly, but yeah, that's kind of that was enough to get me going, I guess.
That's very impressive. Now,
Yeah.
we were wondering, did you have some game concept that you've really never gotten to do anything with, or?
Oh, yeah. It's funny because like when I opened RPG Maker, I essentially started the game that would become Starless Umbra when I was, a kid. But uh, there were, of course, like lots of spin offs and other kind of side games that I made sort of in the interim to like, explore some of these other ideas. And then, like we talked about in the previous question, just like learning about game
Mm-hmm.
development. Um, I'll plug a website, arm2k.net. I essentially blog about, or I don't really post updates anymore, but it does like hold archives of some of these old little like test projects I had built, like little platformers and RPG Maker and stuff like that. Um, yeah, so a lot of those didn't see the light of day, and of course I've rewritten the story so many times, but I do think of it like as just an iterative process of like removing things and building new things and stuff like that. So
Yeah. And speaking of projects, do you potentially have like a project on the horizon after Starless Umbra is finished, or is that too early to say?
um, no, I'll definitely. So I think like with Heroes of Umbra, I mean, this is probably getting ahead a little bit, but like, um, there really wasn't a story to be told. With Starless Umbra, I'm challenging myself to write that story. So, given that plot and narrative is more in the forefront for this game, I definitely want to explore prequels, sequels, side stories, and just building out in this universe that I've kind of slowly started to create now. Um, I when I was younger, I always thought that I would just make the one game like Starless Umbra, and it would be this big magnum. I'd be like, Tolkien and Lord of the Rings or something, just like the one thing and be done with it. Um, but that's really rare, and I think like I just want to continue to build stuff. I want to like take the time to build it, but of course not spend another 20 years on it or whatever. So
That would be
yeah,
preferred, yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
Cool.
what
Yeah,
has actually been like the hardest part of game development for you?
it's interesting. Yeah, I guess I kind of just touched on this. Maybe to elaborate a little bit, just this notion of, well, it's a couple different things. One, it's the common practice, especially for indie developers, is to make something smaller in scope and that's like a little bit randomized, something that's a little bit easier to digest.
Mm-hmm.
Going making JRPGs, especially without like procedurally generated content, is kind of diving into the deep end. so so from that, like the challenge of learning how to write a story, do something different with the combat system, is incredibly challenging. It's also like dialing back my expectations a little bit in that, um, I don't know. I've been working on this intimately for a long part of my life, but for a lot of people, it's really people don't really care how long you spend making the game. It's like, is the game good? Like that's
Yeah,
all I
no,
want.
no, that's
So,
true.
so which is fair, and I understand that, right? So like, um, leveling with that a little bit, and then also just like, as a person, I'm kind of changing. So the stories I've told, when I was effectively a child, don't are much different than the stories I want to tell now. Just like with themes and, um, yeah, like the RPG Maker version made a like quite a long way, but like I if I were to play it again, I would be like, who is this? Even when I actually, so when I did my devlog, I had replayed the intros of both old versions, and I was like, this is something that I made, but I felt so disconnected from it. It was such a weird feeling, and just you know, wrestling with that feeling of changing as a person, and it's a lot.
Would you say that you're more content with the current intro to the game, or not?
Oh, yeah, actually, the current intro I'm very pleased with. I think that uh, the old school lore dumps, slow crawling text. My game used to have that, and that's not something I really want. I'm pretty pleased that like you start up the game, there is like the one panning shot of the beautiful map or whatever, but then you get like the line of dialogue, and the game pretty much starts you in there, within like a couple minutes. So I've even sped it up a little bit since then, but yeah, I think like my my thought process here too was like, let's build a world but not like explain everything to the players straight away, kind of dump them in so they really feel like a part of the setting, right? Rather than be
Mm-hmm.
like, hey, hey Amalia, we're trackers, we have to build, get fur bearers for our professor Clyden. Clyden's our professor of the colony, and we're like, there's a giant barrier around us. And it's like people don't talk like that. And so yeah, hopefully I can just like kind of tease the narrative and the world and just like slowly build on that as the game goes. So just like feeding that to the player and kind of keeping them engaged as they go. So fingers crossed it works.
I'm excited to see it myself.
Nice, thank you. Yeah.
But like talking further about game development, what do you say is your like favorite part of game development?
Mm, favorite part, which should be like the easiest question to answer. uh, honestly, it's like there's a certain moment, and this happened to me in Heroes of Umbra. There's a certain moment where the game feels less like just like something you're trying to build and something that becomes like actually playable, and you're like, oh, like this can be fun. Um, and in Heroes of Umbra, it was, I don't know if you remember, there's the first map with the skeletons. There's like a small map, and because the map is tiny, like the spawn rate is pretty good there. It's like a very popular farming area.
Yeah.
And I remember just like playtesting that with a friend, and yeah, we sat on that map, for like 30 minutes, just like circling through and fighting monsters and slowly leveling up. And then, yeah, at that moment, there's like oh, this is like something that people could play, and not just like lines of code that you're sort of slaving away at and wondering like if the proof of concept is even going to work. So, um, yeah, like that moment to me came very suddenly. I was like, oh yeah, and similarly with Starless Umbra, I think it happened like after I had built through the first a little bit later, but had built through like the first dungeon and had like the first little scene all the way through where you like fight the first boss and stuff. And I was like, okay, like I'm
Oh
spending a lot of
yeah.
time testing, and like okay, I think like the premise is there, and the gameplay um definitely has challenges like around the combat and stuff, but I think like what I want to build is like feasible enough to keep going. So it feels like a game.
It certainly does. Now, I am wondering, do you want to get like actual VAs for Starless Umbra like in the future, maybe?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think so. I think the challenge with that, like anything, right, is that I am constantly tweaking
Mm-hmm.
lines and things like that. I imagine, especially Act One. I'm really happy with Act One, but I do feel like here and there, like lines of dialogue have tweaked. So like really, the VA thing is something that probably won't come until I have to dump, 5 acts worth of dialogue in front of someone's face. Like, hey, do you want to do this? But again, and it's also like a budgeting thing too. But even like for the combat system where there's the chatter that appears, and like just having someone vocalize some of that, I think would be cool. And I've even heard certain people's voices, and like, oh, this sounds like the voice of Clyden, for instance, and like, like save this guy's page in the back of my mind or whatever. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I do want to. I want to do everything, but scope permitting and money permitting, of
Yeah,
course.
this can definitely be an issue. But you've made like two major games, I'd say, like Stars Umbra and Heroes Umbra. Now, out of
Yeah.
those two, which is your favorite that you've made?
Uh, I mean, I definitely have to go with Starless Umbra.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, and that's really coming from a place of, again, Heroes of Umbra. I took a lot of shortcuts, and I don't know why I say shortcuts because it still took me 6+ years to make, but um, maybe creative shortcuts, right? Like the plot
yeah,
is pretty thin. Uh, yeah, I think like for me, plot is such an integral part of the JRPG. To me, it's like the plot and something fun to play. So um, I feel like it's missing half of it, but it was also very important just for my personal development as a developer because um, it came about. So Heroes of Umbra was born out of frustration with RPG Maker, right? So I had been using RPG Maker for about 10 years and was like, I don't know, at this point, Windows 7 was out, and like if you had, for instance, a dual monitor setup like RPG Maker, like the runtime would just crash and it just didn't handle like certain things, and it was just super buggy and patched to death. And I was like, this engine's gonna die, and it doesn't do what I want it to. I want to build my own thing. I built my own engine. Um, would not wish that upon my worst enemies to build your own game engine, but I did it, and then like kind of step back with that and sort of those learnings to reboot Starless Umbra. So yeah,
created your own game engine.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so I use the libgdx framework for in Java is what I used, but then like on top of that, you have to build your own. Build your own game engine with networking. So like the server client communications and stuff like that. Just connecting with players and joining games. But I do love it. I think like Heroes of Umbra is just it's just a lot of fun to play, especially if you get like a couple people together and like the monster scaling gets crazy tough and you're just like yeah, there's like a really nice end game loop too, and a lot inspired by Diablo, but um yeah, I think I want to tell stories sort of more than that. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
So then I'm wondering then, not including your own games, of course, because you probably have a bias for those. But what would you say is your
yeah,
favorite game?
yeah. Most recently, I played the first Xenoblade Chronicles all the way through. Finally, that I actually kind of enjoyed like the modern JRPGs, and I think that inspired a lot of the design decisions there. Unfortunately, I can't not play games and see through it from like this lens of being a game developer. So like if I see some, I don't know, it's always like, what is this game doing? How does this game make you feel when you play it? It's I can't just like sit down and turn that part of my brain off and enjoy games. Um, I've been playing a couple incremental games recently. Shell Divers, most recently, I really enjoyed that. Um, but again, it does come from a place of like getting inspiration. My my other forever game I play is In the Groove or Stepmania. So I play like rhythm games a lot. Um, Mostly just because the skill ceilings are just so high, and it's just like a matter of can you physically do the thing and comprehend it. No, just keep playing and eventually we'll be able to. Um, so yeah, my partner and I play those games a lot. Uh, and yeah, like games like Hades, a lot of like I try to like follow at least like the super big popular games on Steam, and yeah, just kind of try to get a feel for them. So um, yeah, of course, all the games that inspired me too, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
Maple Story. I haven't played the game in years, but like it clearly inspired Heroes of Umbra, and Diablo 3. When I found out that yeah, early Diablo, I don't know, Diablo 3 is a can of worms, but um, yeah, again, like the classic JRPGs, of course, too.
Hmm. Like from hearing you talk, I'm guessing you don't really play too many games anymore, just to like relax. Because
Yeah, no, I mean, I have my daughter just turned 5, so I'm trying to get her to play like some games. So like she's like at the age where we can at least play like a little Minecraft together, and I have like a server running in our garage. Like Mario Kart, stuff like that. But yeah, that's I guess that's fairly relaxing, but I still have to let her win because she gets a little
yeah,
upset if I go all out in Mario Kart, but maybe I shouldn't be so kind to her. We'll see.
this is like also another question I had because I was planning to try to wear like the Starless Umbra shirt today, but it wasn't
Hmm.
ready yet. Is like more merch like that coming, planning to come out or not?
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's funny. I know. Yeah, we'll be talking about marketing a little bit later, but yeah, the merch stuff. Um, it's interesting because it's like not. It doesn't really make sense for a game at my stage where it's not really out, and I kind of knew that going in. So yeah, I have extra shirts. I'll definitely do more merch type stuff in the future. I don't know what that'll look like. I still have like scratch and sniff stickers from the old version of the game,
Yeah, there's like
2011.
characters
So,
I
yeah.
did not recognize on there. I
Yeah.
have them. Hold on, I actually I'm gonna quickly grab
Oh
them real
yeah,
quick.
yeah. If you want to show them off. Yeah, you probably
Yeah,
saw
because
them and
I
you were like,
still have them from when you sent me the shirt and stuff like that, like all this sort
yeah,
of stuff. Like,
yeah. It's funny, yeah, because I'm sure if you squint your eyes, like Endoru is was clearly a self insert as my name as being Andrew, and it's kind of funny like that progression of
Actually, yeah,
Amalia.
it looks a little similar. Yeah, I can see the
Yeah,
similarities.
at least like the hair color and um
Yeah,
yeah, fun stuff. So yeah, more merch for sure. It's just like it's weird because it's only special to. I mean, it only really makes sense once you've had a successful game as like a marketing thing. But
yeah.
um, thankfully, I am in a position where I can kind of occasionally do like these fun little things. I'm already getting so the company I went with to get the shirts. They're like, hey, buy another 100 shirts and we'll throw in like 12 free, and I'm like, great, but I'm still trying to sell the 100 I have. So um yeah, I haven't broken even on that yet, but it's fine. Again, it's not, it's yeah,
I'd
but
say buy
definitely.
another one, but that's gonna be way too
No,
expensive with the
yeah.
other costs.
If you guys have ideas for future merch though, let me know and I'll try to
Well, I
show you.
make
And I
my own
definitely like.
merch.
Oh, nice. Yeah, what kind of merch?
Well, I'm in an esports team for racing, so
Oh,
the
sweet.
yeah, the little t-shirts that we wear for that.
Nice. That's probably easier. That's probably the way to go.
Oh yeah, it's a template, so
Yeah. But man, it was like $4 each if you got 100 of them. I was like, that's great. And then it's like, wait, but then like that's still after shipping, it's like $500 and stuff. So, um, but yeah,
Yeah, but so speaking about like merch and stuff like that, what would you say is like from your own experience, the best way to support indie devs?
yeah. Actually, it's funny. So I have gone to conventions before. That's where the scratch and sniff stickers had come from. I just
Yeah.
like throwing them out at a convention. I don't actually think that does. I don't know if that helps any. Probably not. Maybe a couple people. Um, I've tried commissioning fan art. So like there's a really nice fan art of Reen that I had a buddy do, the guy who did the original title screen, but for Heroes. But I don't think fan art is the move either. Really, what it comes down to is for a developer, it's festivals and especially indie developers, it's festivals and streamers. So yeah, getting the game in front of people like you, and of course if you have streamers that you follow and you're like indie, like hey, I know this game. You might like this game because you play games like it. Like, um, targeting those audiences. I think like a big selling point for Starless Umbra is the co-op aspect. So I'm gonna start once I'm happier with a demo. I'm gonna start reaching out to streamers that do like that sort of co-op like sort of thing, and just like kind of, hey, you might like to play this, and reaching out to people who have bigger audiences than me and kind of pushing it out that way. So yeah, and of course, getting it into festivals, in person and remote is the other kind of way that really gets people wish lists on Steam, and that's kind of ultimately what it comes down to is wish lists and yeah.
So any specific
hang on, Seven,
conventions you're?
hang on.
Oh, sorry.
I have a follow-up question here because yesterday was the Game Awards, right? Um, would you ever have Starless Umbra, or would you think Starless Umbra would ever like get a Game Award?
Oh, um, I mean, it depends on the scope, right? When Opera GX became a thing, and like Game Maker had, there's like Opera had bought Game Maker, right, and that was a big thing. Um, they did do like a call to action for like GX games submissions, and I submitted Starless Umbra, and it got like best puzzles or something, and I won a little bit of money for that, so that was really cool. Um, at that like the bigger scale, I don't know. I think, yeah, I think those are probably. It depends, right? Those are really reserved for games that are kind of. I don't know. I don't know if I have that broad appeal, or like I'm really breaking any new ground. I think those are reserved for like like the Stardew Valleys and I don't know, the games that are really innovating in the space. And yeah, maybe I'm not quite there yet. but it would depend on the scope, so I'll make my own awards. But you mentioned Seven, you mentioned conventions and stuff.
Yeah, is there any specific ones you're planning to go to, like present the game?
Yeah. I posted about this in my last blog. I'm really just in a festival submit mode. If I get announced to be in a festival, that's probably when I'll like release an updated demo in tandem for that. The most, well, I don't want to say promising one because I have no idea, but the most exciting prospect is Tokyo Indie Games Festival next year in Tokyo. I've been twice before pre-pandemic, and I would love to travel back there again and just have a little booth and show off a version of the game that's been localized into Japanese and getting feedback there. That'd be really cool. But beyond that, definitely some local ones, I'm sure. I'm in the Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area, so of course, like GDC is the big one out here that a lot of people are familiar with, but it's, in my opinion, it's very expensive, and I don't know, like, there's always like the cost trade off there. So, but if it's local and it's like, I guess we have like MagWest and a couple out here in the West Coast. Yeah, definitely. I think that's. I think from what I've heard, in person is not as powerful as it was pre-pandemic. A lot of people after the pandemic switched to like these kind of these online festivals on the Steam especially, and that's like, I think just the cost to wish list ratio is a little bit better there. So
No, it's good. So,
yeah.
When are you planning, or are you hoping to have Starless Umbra in like a full release date? When's that supposed to be?
Yeah. I posted this in my Discord server. I'm notoriously bad at giving estimates. So, for context, Heroes of Umbra, Heroes of Umbra was originally planned to be a 3-month thing, and I ended up spending like almost 10 years on it. So, that's a thing.
That's some pretty
Yeah.
poor guess.
I'm like creeping towards the end of my 30s here, so not to age myself too much. I'm not embarrassed by it or anything, but I would love to have the game done before I'm 40. That would be cool. Honestly though, like I think it's there. I think like of course I spent almost a full year rebuilding all of Act 2. Just because I was unhappy with the first one. But I think like learning from those mistakes, like I can kind of accelerate the pace and again, like try to have everything wrapped up in like 2 to 3 years. We'll see. Knock on wood. Yeah, no, don't quote me on that, even though it'd be on YouTube and everything. But
it's a guess.
yeah.
It's just a guess.
Yeah.
It's
again,
prone
like,
to changing.
Yeah. Steam actually, when you upload to Steam, I don't know if you guys know this, but it'll ask you to put like a date, and like you kind of have to there, even if you don't know, there has to be a date, you continuously like push that out and stuff. So I forget what I put, but it's sometime in 2027. But I don't know if that's that'd be nice. We'll see. Yeah.
You mentioned.
Hopefully it accelerates though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry. No. So you mentioned like player feedback for like indie Japan. So how important is player feedback like to your developments?
Yeah. It's important. It's very important. I would say it's not the most important, and I should clarify that like for better or worse, I kind of like I have this idea of what I want the game to be, and so I'm going to build that game. And but like the learnings along the way, because I don't have as much experience as like the culmination of everyone that plays my game, is definitely valuable. And it's definitely one of those things that like especially recently, like I had refactored the design of the HUD, and that came out of a lot of feedback from the server. And I proposed a couple options, and I went with the one that people liked the best, even though it wasn't the one that I liked the best. So, but I think like it makes sense, and I think that I think it works. And yeah, so I guess it's just the separate perspectives. It's challenging though because you can't really incorporate everyone's feedback. I recently got some feedback on my game that was, hey, I actually liked the turn-based version of the game more. Like, I feel like that was more fleshed out. And I'm like, that's valid. Like, if you don't like the action thing, like the in-between action and real time and turn-based, then maybe this game isn't for you. But I do feel at least like I feel like the multiplayer thing should exist, and that's something that I want to see. So I'm not gonna revert back to a turn-based battle system that I promise you was not more fleshed out than the current battle system. It was really just uh, sloppily thrown together in whatever RPG Maker let me do. So, but like honestly, I think the feelings that I get, the feelings and whatever people feel about the battle system is totally valid, and I take those all like to heart, and even if they don't like it, like I promise you're not as critical about the battle system as I am. So I appreciate and embrace all feedback. So
Mm-hmm.
it's super important. Yeah, the other people that play my game that have not. That's why, yeah. I don't know. I'll play my game totally different than other people will, but kind of getting those.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, definitely. What I am also wondering about, will you add like a separate game mode where you can just play the mini games on its own,
Oh,
or is
yeah, yeah. The minigame boss rush.
oh the mini games? I fucking love the mini games. Like
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
so much fun.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, it's funny. I mean, I had like a crazy idea to do like a Mario Party style game within the game, but it's like crazy scope. But
Maybe for a
I
next
think like
project.
yeah, maybe for the next one. Final Fantasy VII did this one really well, where there was like Gold Saucer, right? And you just went there and you could play new mini games, but also I think revisit some of the old mini games as well. So I always have had it in the back of my mind to have like some kind of casino area in the game where there's that kind of thing. So in world, I think there definitely will be. Yeah. Some people wanted like a horde mode too, which was interesting. So it'd be like just the combat, and then maybe you get like randomized skills after battles, and then the monsters get stronger, and you see how far you can go. And that sounded really cool too. I had never thought of anything like that, but yeah, like more like roguelike style
Mm-hmm.
set aside minigame thing.
That does sound interesting.
Yeah, we'll see.
So, for any potential future games, would you like considering switching to a different engine, or are you sticking with the one you made?
Yeah. Oh, so for I use Game Maker for Starless Umbra, and that was really just because the engine I had built for Heroes was a little bit God, what's the word? Like just brittle. It's very tough to change, and
Mm-hmm.
if you're not making an online game, then it probably doesn't make sense. And there's just so many assumptions around the game that's being used. So the game that's being made, sorry. I think I really like Game Maker. And what I've done too is I want to do a video about this, but I've built kind of a layer on top of it to do all of the cutscene scripting stuff. So uh, it's like its own light language to like show messages and shake screen, play sound effects, pan screen around. All that kind of stuff is all driven by um, like a light scripting layer. Uh, and I repurpose that for the combat system as well. So all this like Amalia's leap and stuff it's all defined in like text files. So I can actually add new skills without writing any game maker specific code really. So um, I think that having that foundation would really accelerate some of like the more narrative focused approaches I might do for the next games. And other things I wanted to do for Heroes in my own engine, like exporting to Switch, for instance. I really wanted Heroes of Umbra on Switch, but like it was just outside my wheelhouse to get like the libgdx Switch bindings going. And I don't know, Game Maker just they've got here's the Switch version. You just do the thing and pay them $80 or whatever, and you can export. I have the dev kit, and Starless Umbra runs great on the Switch, like out the box. So, yeah. I think I'll probably stick. With Game Maker. I want to explore Godot, but honestly, like, yeah, whatever gets me there the fastest, I think is ultimately what it comes down to.
Mm-hmm. Now, you talked before about like what you look for in a game, but what makes a game fun for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think like in addition to just being, I guess more broadly like game feel. So like, how does it just feel to play? Is it smooth or clunky? I don't want it to be like, I don't want to feel like there's friction when I'm playing it. So
Mm-hmm.
efficient in sort of gameplay, and consistent and cohesive, and style and looks are super important to me. So I don't like if it's a pixel style game, if there's like the mixels or whatever as it's called, where like the pixel grid isn't aligned, I feel like that throws me off a little bit. But that's more of like an aesthetics thing. So gameplay. What else? Oh yeah, just a strong sense of progression. So there's a couple ways this manifests itself. Like obviously there's like farming in an RPG and getting stronger and getting
Mm-hmm.
new skills and stuff like that. I think that can feel good. Um, from the rhythm game side of like my experience is like just the mechanical advantage of learning something and playing it over and over again, and sort of learning the ins and outs of a system, and
Mm-hmm.
just like mechanically getting better at it is really interesting. There's less of that in Starless Umbra, but I think like for the mini games and stuff, I think that'll be more crucial. But yeah, those are big parts of it. And really like it comes down to like enjoyment, right? So I tend to steer away from like more competitive. Rhythm games can be competitive, but like more, I don't know, matchmaking oriented. Like I played League of Legends a little bit till someone told me to unalive myself and go back to coolmathgames.com. That game was not for me. Like in a perfectly balanced matchmaking system, right? You'd be winning half your matches and losing half your matches, and just like the sinking feeling of like going through like the loss process was just not as much enjoyment as I would get out of winning a match. So I just like the math there didn't work out. So um yeah, just again, yeah, like that, and just narrative feeling like separately, just feeling like you're part of a world that's kind of lived in, and um I guess you kind of get just engrossed in something, a world that's been crafted, and yeah, feeling like you're less of a person controlling a player and you're the actual player yourself. It's tricky to get there, but um, it's always kind of fascinating as well.
Yeah. Now, next up, I want to talk very briefly about how you market your games.
Yeah. I'm not the right person to talk about this. I'm bad at this. I'm notoriously bad at this. One is something I learned recently is marketing is really like, in addition to like hey, here's my game, come play it, and the stuff that comes after you've been building the game. There's a lot of stuff in marketing that happens before. So like, you know, making sure you're reaching the right audience. Like Steam players have a very specific type of game that they like. They want big, deep games, and none of these like light puzzle games. And um, finding the right audience there is super important. Uh, my goal is that the Switch will be kind to me in that regard, but we'll see. Um, yeah. So like, there's that whole pre-market research phase, and I think again, something I talked on a little bit, like after you've kind of figured out what you're building, iterating, prototyping. We talked about feedback.
Mm-hmm.
That's also important. Just making sure that you're, you know, ultimately building something that's good. A big part of it is making sure the game you build is like not slop. And to me, like any game worth making is a game that's not going to be done quickly and easily. So Unfortunately, that's where we are. And then lastly, yeah, just like it's getting it in front of people's eyeballs, streamers, festivals, all that stuff. Hyping people up with trailers. I'm still trying to get a improved trailer out. I snuck it out on the Steam page, but I want it to be like on YouTube and stuff, and just kind of like premiering, getting people excited about certain major milestones that I hit, like if I release a demo or I need playtesters and stuff. So um,
Yeah, if you need
yeah, yeah,
playtesters, I'm always available.
yeah,
Yeah, same here.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, likewise. Or I guess likewise. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, because just like, yeah, I think, Seven, you in particular, I know you've like, actually, I'll pause on this. I'll get to this later. I know this is coming later, so I don't want to
Yeah,
jump
okay.
ahead.
All
Yeah.
right. Now, what is actually your goal with game development?
Yeah. So, um, I I'm keeping it as a hobby now. I did in the past work on mobile games. I think there's some discussion around that coming up, but um, I think the professional space of game development would stress me out, given like the whole. I don't know. I'm a provider for my family, and I need stable income to pay off this house. And uh, so I think that keeping it a hobby is okay with me, and just like a spare time thing. Um, my ultimate goal though is to just honestly like keep doing it. Like I can. When I was a kid, I was like, I wonder if I can make this. It seems like I can, so I just want to like keep making it, even through like retirement. Maybe crack open RPG Maker 2003 for old time's sake or whatever. But yeah, just like keep making games, even when like it's I don't know, just like keeping the finances out of it, just like building creative stuff, So
Hmm. That's actually a brilliant segue into our next question. Because you mentioned it already in the like in this episode, that you gotta let your daughter win in Mario Kart and stuff like that. You have like an actual job. How do you
yeah,
balance all of that and like working on the game at the same time?
yeah. Um, very deliberately. It's tricky. So it's like it's one of those things where like yeah, I again before this I was getting my daughter to school. After this, I'm doing my 9 to 5, hang out with family for a bit, and then I'll get my couple hours in the evening. But really keeping consistent, even if I don't have as much time. Like I was actually some of these monthly blogs I do, like I'm like, oh, I actually kind of got a lot of stuff done in a month, and it doesn't feel like it day to day, but uh, going into it with like consistency and very like deliberate. So by deliberate, I just mean like I have a task list, and it's like here's what needs to get done. It's not glamorous. It's not what I would do 10 years ago where it's like, oh, what do I feel like doing? Am I inspired? Nah, I'm not really. It's not about inspiration. It's just about like, like the focus and the discipline and like just keeping with it, even if I don't have as much time. And it's also uh, trying to avoid some things that don't necessarily move the needle, so to speak. So last month was tricky because of like some game maker bugs, which were a little bit outside of my control. But I spent a lot of time working on the game, but like I had very little to show by the end of the month. And so um, thinking about ways to avoid that and really building things that sort of impact the game um, and move me closer to the finish line, I think are really important rather than like, again, like I know I'm in demo mode, so I'm like, I should practice what I preach, but like excessive polish and things like that. I just like, is the core game fun to play? I hope so. I feel like it's getting there. 800K plays on Opera GX, and I which is I don't know, but yeah, we'll see. Just continuing to keep at it little bit by little bit, and um, not spin my wheels doing the same thing over and over again. Hopefully. not rewriting all of Act 2 again.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, yeah. It's getting better. It's getting there.
Yeah. Now you talked about mobile games that you worked on them for like a job.
Mm-hmm.
Would you, perhaps in the future, like to make them in the future, like a as port of like a mobile port for Heroes of Umbra or Starless Umbra when it's finished?
Yeah. I think it would fall into like the hobby category. Um, Part of my goal is, like it sounds weird to say this because it is like out of passion, but like is to make some money. I don't think I'll get back everything that I put into it, obviously, because it's been decades now at this point. But like money does allow me to put that towards the next game, which could be bigger and better and hire more artists and more voice actors and get it localized into more languages. um the mobile space, unless you're doing like a very predatory freemium game, is not going to make a whole lot of money. Like if I do Heroes of Umbra does run on.
Oh,
I feel like we lost him.
yeah, I feel the same.
Yeah.
Oh god, he's frozen. Oh god.
Yeah, we lost him, I think. That's a technical difficulty. Yeah, good that we have that happen in the first one and not the 100th.
Yeah. Oh
Uh,
man. Maybe his daughter's playing with the Wi-Fi.
I mean, she's at school, if I'm not mistaken, that he said.
Oh yeah, not true.
Yeah, okay. We'll wait until he's back.
Yep.
Do they have 4G in America?
I'm sure they have some
It's a dumb
form of
question.
4G or like 5G. They gotta have
Yeah.
something.
Oh, wait. Why is it? Huh? Are the American servers down or something?
I don't know. That would
Oh, wait,
happen on
no,
the first
you
episode.
can hear us talk. That's weird. All right. Yeah, sure. He's trying to rejoin. Okay. There he is. If it works now. Oh. I just got a disconnection and reconnection. That was weird.
Mhm.
Don't tell me Discord is having its quirks right now.
I fucking hope not.
Let me check. Discord status. Discord, how are you, buddy? Yeah, it says it's fully operational, so shouldn't be anything wrong. Yeah, I mean, it would happen to us if it was Discord as well, so...
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's a technical difficulty. This shit happens all the time.
Yeah.
Title of today's video: Technical difficulties while interviewing a dev.
There we go.
Alright, we're
Yes?
back.
Okay. Yeah, all right.
Good.
Yeah, I don't. It didn't seem to be my internet, but because I heard you guys chatting, and then maybe I blame Discord.
Yeah, it might have been Discord having its quirks again. I think it's happening yet again.
Oh no. God damn it.
Oh no.
Oh, Discord.
Oh,
wait, yeah. Okay,
he's
we're back.
moving. He's
We're back.
moving. He's moving. Let's go.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh my god.
All right.
Am I back?
What is happening?
Yeah. Yeah, you're
We
back.
can
You're
hear you.
back.
Maybe my PC. Let me see. And maybe I'm just recording for too long. No.
PC
No,
just
it's
ran out
definitely.
of space.
I think so.
Yep.
Here, I'll stop this one. Let's see. I don't know why that would cause me to leave the. Let's see. Am I in? I guess not.
I mean, we hear you and everything, so.
You hear me?
Yeah,
Oh,
we
okay.
hear you. Yeah,
Yeah.
we hear you, and we see you as well. You're not
Yeah.
frozen in time, so that's good.
Nice. All right. I wonder if it was Audacity. All right, I'm gonna export this one.
Ooh,
We'll
yeah.
give it
Yeah, my laptop freezes every time I use Audacity for too long.
yeah, I was like, I'm about at like 50 minutes of recording, so and let me double check. Yeah, I had a meeting in about 10 minutes, but I'm waiting for the guy to actually confirm.
Oof, 10 minutes before the meeting, you still gotta confirm. Oh shit.
Oh no, he confirmed. Okay, I have my phone on Do Not Disturb.
Okay.
Okay, nice. Yeah, maybe I'll blame Audacity here. Let's see. It says 10 seconds on the export here. I'm exporting it to my other drive, and then I'll just reboot it, and then let's see, close that. Alrighty, okay. Yeah, we can resume now if you'd like.
All right.
If you can hear me still.
Yeah, we can still
Yeah.
hear you. Yeah.
Sweet. Yeah, we were talking about mobile games.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think just like the domain there is just kind of flooded with the freemium sort of model. It comes down to like how much players of games value what is being built on the platform, and a lot of people, unfortunately, with phones are just like, yeah, I'd be better off, selling my data, giving it away for free, and then playing this free game with an ad every other level than pay a couple bucks. So it's a little bit saturated, but I did like my time, in developing mobile games. So that was fun.
Yeah. Now we were also wondering, are there Easter eggs in your games?
I think everyone knows about slash fart in Heroes of Umbra. No, yeah, I mean, I try to toss Easter eggs in. I think that's part of just like building a fleshed out world, is that there are these small moments of kind of discovery that I think people have. So like, yeah, whether that is like obscure plot things to uncover, or just like, yeah, just silly fun stuff. Like I think there'll be a lot of that in Starless Umbra when I get to like the deep plot polish phase. So um yeah. Oh yeah. There's a fun one actually, one that just came to mind. If we're players of the original RPG Maker version of Starless Umbra, there's a scene in Act 2 where Amalia, it's like a young Amalia, and Amalia's parents are playing an integral part of the plot. And at the time, I didn't actually have like an NPC sprite to use for Amalia's parents. But then I remembered, oh, I have Andoru from the RPG Maker version, and so yeah, Amalia's parents are canonically, well, I guess like two of the characters from the original RPG Maker version, which is kind of a fun little Easter egg.
Have you ever had to scrap projects?
Yeah. I think we talked a little bit about this, like the iterative process of like Starless Umbra, where it's gone through a lot of revisions of like, yeah, just general plot scrapping and rebuilding, and all of Act 2 I needed to redo because I tried too hard to fit characters into the narrative that didn't really fit. Yeah, side games, a lot of those. I think it's pretty common. I think if it is, sometimes for me it's hard to let things go when they're not working, but being able to do that early on is like a pretty important skill, like the sunk cost fallacy and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely lots of scrap stuff.
Have you ever considered doing 3D games? Because now you're making like pixel games, stuff like that. So ever considered doing that?
Yeah. I think it comes down really to just like ease of implementation. There's obviously been I think there's a lot of really interesting like 2.5D HD, what it is called, like the Octopath Traveler and so on, that look really cool. Um, I'm not opposed to it. I think it adds complexity to kind of what I'm trying to build. I think 3D games do better on Steam though, for instance. So if I were to make a game in the future, like there's definitely stuff to be learned there, and I think
Mm-hmm.
that's like something that I'm not opposed to any medium. I think it's just yeah, I think I have to learn it and I have to be comfortable with it, and hopefully like the tooling works and all that stuff. So yeah, we'll see how it. We'll see. I mean, I did a lot of prototyping with Starless Umbra before I started it. I have like little isometric versions and stuff that were really cool, but ultimately I just went with 2D because like asset reuse, I could reuse some of the stuff from Heroes of Umbra. Well, sound effect. I guess sound effects don't matter, but yeah, I feel like I had more of a basis just sticking to 2D. It was a little bit more comfortable, but I don't know. I also I didn't touch when we talked about games earlier. I didn't mention, but I do like Half-Life Alyx was one of my favorite games that I played like in the past 5 years, and um, a VR game would be cool too, man. I like, yeah,
Yeah, no, true. That honestly, imagine just playing as Amalia would be fun. I could do the toxic
yeah,
leaf in person.
yeah, yeah. A lot of the games, those games play on like really fun movement mechanics
Mm-hmm.
too, like the Attack on Titan clones and stuff, where you're like swinging around and stuff. Oh, so cool.
Mm-hmm. Now, just I have like two more questions for you. Um,
Yeah. Let's do
one
it.
of the last one is, how did you actually find out about my channel? Because that is something I'm very curious about.
Yeah, I wish there were a more interesting story, but honestly, it goes back to like player feedback, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when I released the game, there was a moment where it sort of like boomed in Opera GX. I think, did you find it on Opera
Yes, I
GX
did. I did.
initially? Okay. Yeah. So generally once a week or so, I just search for Starless Umbra and I'll see what pops up, see if people are playing the game. And because the game isn't so popular, I can do that and kind of keep tabs on like when content is created and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, am I freezing? No, I'm good still. Good
Yeah,
still.
you still good, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Sweet. Yeah. So yeah, digging into that as I found your channel, and I was just like the eye opening piece to me was like um had you had done like a little bit of like fan art at the end of the game, which I thought was really moving to me, because it's like it kind of reinforced like this is something I want to build. I want to build a game that's maybe not as popular, but like resonates with people enough to like just
Yeah.
draw shit and like
It wasn't very good,
like
but it was the best I could do at the moment.
no, yeah, and honestly, like it is like art in all forms, right, is like an iterative
Mm-hmm.
process. So like just kind of seeing that was really moving. So yeah, I wish there was a better rationale for it, but it was
Yeah.
literally just I creep around. I try to I try to see what people are saying, good or bad. It's like
Yeah.
those initial impressions of the project are especially valuable too. So
Hmm.
the fresh set of eyes after I've played through the intro at probably like 50 times by now at least. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And then for our final question, if someone were to start like an indie game, what would your advice for them be? Any tips?
Yeah, literally don't do what I did. Almost everyone says start small and start with like a pretty small scope, and I think that is very important. Um, yeah, just like the scope thing is tricky, right? Because people want to make these really big games that are like AAA, but you kind of gotta crawl before you walk, and walk before you can run, and uh, it depends. I guess it also depends sort of on what your goal is, right? So like me, um, thankfully I don't have the pressure of relying on this as like my income, so I can take the time that I need, right? So
Mm-hmm.
figuring out what is important to you, and like hey, are you interested in making games? If so, like, what does that look like? For me, I always saw it as through the lens of like, I want to make games that like, one, I want to see if I can do it, and two is I want to make the games that like are similar to games that I really enjoyed playing, and maybe just sort of giving them a little bit of a fresh coat of paint, I suppose. But yeah. I think like small focus scopes and just like learning from other games that inspire you. Obviously don't plagiarize, but like, you know, another thing is like just realizing that inspiration really doesn't come from a vacuum. It's kind of like the culmination of other games you've played, other movies you've seen. Starless Umbra, The Fog is effectively inspired by like the nothing from Neverending Story, if you've ever seen that movie.
I have not, no.
But yeah, just like no, yeah, it's an old '80s classic, but just like yeah, kind of like the culmination of all these inspirations and just like yeah, mixing them all up and building from there and creating things that you find fun to play, and then I think a lot follows from that.
Hmm.
I'm not an expert, but
But you have been doing this for 20 years. You have some knowledge.
yeah. Are you guys either of you interested in game development or?
Oh, I would
Oh, yeah.
honestly love to try it, but I've got my other focuses that I need to focus on more, like animation stuff like that. Getting that up and
Yeah,
running.
yeah.
And of course,
That's fair.
like
Yeah.
learning how to make music myself and all sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I
That's
don't really
awesome.
have
Yeah.
time for game dev. So
Nice. Sweet.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm in the business for it. Well, I mean, not in the business, but I'm learning.
Nice. Sweet.
Yeah. And that are all of our questions. Thank you so much, Zexyu, for joining us.
Yeah, likewise. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for again letting me be the guinea pig.
Yeah.
Of course, like yeah.
Thank you for being
And
the
then,
guinea pig.
yeah, and honestly opportunities just to like chat about some of this
Yeah,
stuff
no,
because
definitely.
yeah, I love talking about it. I am for better or worse like heads down like again like just trying to focus on it a lot of the time, but I'm glad we were able to kind of make the time to just chat about it and eager to follow your journey too as like from YouTube to animation and stuff and
That's gonna be
yeah.
a long while because I'm not good yet.
No, just keep at it. It's fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, for sure. I've already got like
If you
some stuff done, but
yeah.
it's difficult to get like the right level of impact you want with it sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, there's this fight
Well,
scene in the
I'll
project,
yeah.
and if it does not look good yet, which I mean, it makes sense. It's not that far into like production and that part, but yeah, it doesn't have the right oomph to like the hits. I don't have it yet, so it's gonna be a bit more
The juice.
fantasy.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a problem, but I'll get there. I'll definitely get there. I've got the time and
Nice. Cool. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I was gonna say if you want to see like old crappy versions of stuff, like I definitely have like bad versions of my game that I have. I'm not like the current one is perfect, but it's definitely been.
It's an improvement.
It's definitely a journey, and it'll definitely take time, but I think
Yeah.
you'll get there. So
No, definitely.
cool, nice. Well, I gotta hop to
Yeah.
a call here for work, and I'll send you guys the stuff though. I'll hang out
Yeah.
in the server a little bit and
All right,
share
thanks.
files with y'all. And, we'll chat again soon. But yeah, it's been a
No,
pleasure.
for sure.
Yeah, thanks
Thanks,
guys.
man.
It's been a pleasure. Yeah.
Yeah, chat later. See ya.
Yeah. Later.
See ya. All right. Well, aside from the technical difficulty, that was a good first one.
Yeah, that was a
I'm
good
gonna be
first
honest.
one.
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited. That was fun.
Yeah. This was nice. Now I'm gonna quickly get rid of all of the questions for our next Devcast, so that we do have the framework. Anyway, yeah. How did you think it was gonna go, and how did it actually go?
What am I being
Because you asked
interviewed
most of
now?
the questions. No, you asked most of the questions, so I'm asking you. You know.
Yeah, no. Well, I didn't really know what to expect, but I definitely enjoyed like getting all the answers.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for me, to be fair, I just loved listening. I was like, I'm not gonna interrupt most of the time. I'm just gonna
Yeah.
listen. I'm a good listener, and I was actually very intrigued by what he was saying. Apparently, yeah. Well, now I actually also have more respect for the creators of Arc 2. You know, he's been working on Heroes of Umbra for a very long time, and now I know why Arc 2 is taking 6 years already. So yeah, it gives me a perspective. I'm actually glad that we decided to do this idea, like to set it free, basically.
Well, it's not we did. You got the idea.
Yeah, it was my idea, I know, but we did do it together, you know.
Yeah, I
It's not
had the
just me.
connections.
Yes, you had that connection indeed. I might have a connection to some other ones. Um, uh, well, one of them hopefully Apex. Anyway, because yeah, I mean, I really want someone from Apex to interview because that might actually be amazing.
I mean, we
At
can
least for me.
try.
Yeah, we can always try, but we'll keep it we'll keep it small as Andrew said. Yeah. Anyway, viewers, aside from Seven here, on my other side there, I hope you guys also enjoyed. We sure as hell did.
Yeah, no, it was fun.
Yeah, of course, if you guys have connections with any dev, doesn't matter which game, we don't care. We just want to interview any dev to basically see what their perspective is on, well, game development or just development in general. And of course, we want to know how they make their game or anything close to it. So please, in the comments, throw anything in there, any feedback, any whatever. Just throw something in there. Be sure to subscribe, obviously, for our next Devcasts as well, and perhaps leave a like. It might help us with, getting more devs.
Yeah.
I tried to wink, but my face didn't do it.
Yeah. But also, it's good promotion. Like it's interesting a game to a new audience potentially. So
Yes. Yeah. That's for sure. Yeah. Anyway, guys, obviously, hope you guys enjoyed. As always, we'll see you guys in the next one, and yeah, take care, fellas.
take care. Bye bye.